Hi, this is Sandy, and today I will show you how to put together our witch boot lantern. We are going to start with the bottom piece of the boot. Just fold it on the scores as shown. You see that the front portions will fold up. Then you'll add glue to the first small tab towards the front of the piece, right where the fold is for the front portion of the boot. And then fold over and align the edge of the next section to the tab fold. And you want to hold it to secure before you go on to the other side, but go ahead and once it's secure, repeat the same action on the other side. Adhere the two other tabs in the front to the top side of the small section. You'll attach it to the tabs to the inside so they can't be seen, and then you'll want to hold them to secure them in place. Make sure, again, everything's dry before you go on to the next step. This will leave a small opening with two tabs on the side to attach another piece. Next, we'll take the front boot piece and fold it as shown, and then we're going to attach the sides. You can see how they're angled. You can tell which one goes at each side. It'll be flat on the bottom. But go ahead and add glue to the tab, and then you will align that side edge of the front piece to the tab fold, and then apply pressure to secure it. Then you'll repeat the same action on the other side. For it to fit a little bit better, you do want to make sure that the tab fold is aligned with the edge well and exactly where it needs to be. You just a little bit off, and it could cause a little bit of issues, but for the most part, paper is forgiving. Now we'll take that top piece and add glue to that front tab, and we will insert that tab in the front opening of the bottom piece. You'll kind of reach in to apply pressure up and make sure that that edge meets that fold. And you can flip it over to apply pressure on the table as well. That helps. Now add glue to the side tab on the front of the shoe, and we'll glue the side tabs under the sides, the front side portion. Always making sure that the tab folds are aligned with the edge, and we'll repeat the same action on the other side. And you can see the shape of the front of the boot is coming together. So now we're going to add the panel. You could have done this earlier, the panel to the front of the boot, the front long portion. The reason we're doing it now is to help you apply pressure. Again, you could have done this before. I just didn't do that in this video. And just go ahead and center it in there, and then you can flip it over to apply additional pressure. I used glitter paper, so it was a little bit more difficult to adhere. To finish the front of the boot, we'll adhere the bottom side tabs to the bottom of the front of the boot. So you'll just align those tab folds to the edge. You can put it on the bottom, nobody will see it. That's why we do it that way. It makes it a little bit secure, more secure when you fold a box with over the edge rather than under. And then I just flip it over and reach in to apply pressure from within against the table. At this point, I piece together the side and front boot panels, and once they're pieced together, I center them on the sides and front. I reach inside and rub with my fingers to apply pressure. You can flip them over carefully and apply pressure against the table, but you have to be careful with the different angles. If it does lift a little bit, you can try to put if you have a fine tip glue dispenser, you can try to add additional glue around the edges, but if you're careful, you can get it on the first time. Sometimes I'm not so careful with my glue, so I have to go back and do it again. Now we're going to attach the larger vertical sides of the boot. To attach the sides, you'll first want to adhere the front tab of the vertical side underneath the edge of the front small side of the boot. Then you'll apply pressure from within and out to secure it. And then we'll fold the bottom tabs up to attach the sides. Now you'll want to make sure that this fold underneath the heel is nice and crisp, because it has to fit into that corner. So make sure it's in the corner before you attach those tabs, and you'll apply pressure to adhere. I didn't do very well on this side, the other side's better. But if you do get glue, don't worry about it. It will be covered. That's not a problem. Now we're going to stop for a moment, and I forgot to do this before putting the side on. But you want to curl it just a little bit to help adhere the pieces when we get there. And now we'll repeat the same process on the other side, putting that large side panel on. And here you'll see it again if you weren't quite sure how it went, where you attach that front tab underneath within, and I flipped it over to apply pressure. And then glue on those bottom tabs to the side. Then after we're done with this, we will attach the front piece of the front panel to the sides. Starting at the bottom tabs, add glue to 2 tabs at a time from the bottom to the top. And you'll want to line up the edge of the front boot piece and gently secure each tab underneath, making sure each one is dry, the glue is dry before you move on so it doesn't move any. You'll do the same on the other side of the boot. Alternating sides makes it easier to add adhesive to the tabs, but it's not necessary. So you'll want to continue gluing 2 tabs at a time on each side until you reach the top. Just make sure that each tab is secure before gluing the next tab. I don't show everything in detail here, as it's the same steps, but you'll get the gist and see what the results are. You just want to get that front panel attached to those side tabs. And now we'll proceed to attach the back piece, and that will form the heel and the back portion. And you can see that it's folded, and it's folded pretty much in the shape of the side, the back side, and you want it to be like that so it'll be easier to adhere. Then add glue to the tab at the bottom of the boot, and then we'll line up the edge of the heel portion of the back to the tab fold, and then we'll apply pressure to secure the back piece to the bottom. I would also suggest flipping it over and applying pressure inside and outside of the tab with your fingers. This helped me a lot. Now add glue to the heel side tabs, and you'll fold up to glue it to the sides, as we did previously with the other tabs. We'll repeat that on both sides, and then after that we will continue to attach that back portion, similar to the way that we attach the front. Starting at the back bottom tabs, let's go ahead and add glue to 2 tabs at a time from the bottom to the top, and we'll line up the edge of the back boot piece and gently secure each tab underneath. This is similar to how we attach that front portion. You'll make sure each tab is secured before continuing, especially when you're working around these curves. You'll want to do the same on the other side, and I do alternate sides again, just to make it easier to get that glue onto the next tab. If you do, sometimes the one side gets glued and you can't get to the tabs very easily, but if you just do them a little at a time, you can bend back that back panel to get to them. So continue to glue about 2 tabs at a time until you reach the top, and then the structure of the witch boot will be complete. We just need to add the panels and some embellishments. Next, we'll glue on the back panel. The top edge of the panel should be just a little below the top edge. And I just kind of start there and apply pressure from inside and outside along the length of the panel. I was using glitter paper, so it's a little bit harder for it to adhere, so you do have to apply a little bit more pressure. Then glue each of the inside panels to the outside boot panels on the inside of the outside boot panels. Recommended paper to use is vellum, so if you are using it as a lantern, the glow will show through the glow of the tea light. However, if you don't want to make it a lantern, you could also add paper. Like a pattern paper would be cute. And that's if you just wanted the boot as maybe a decor, not a lantern. But either way, this is crafting. Use your creativity. Just go ahead and rub around the edges with your fingers to help adhere. Just note there are softer curves on the panels than the sides to help soften the look, so it may not fit exactly. And that was the intention, actually. Then if you do need to apply additional pressure, just go ahead and flip it over and apply it from within. Again, repeat the same steps on the other side. And you won't even notice there's really that difference if you center it, the panel. And go ahead and flip it over and apply pressure from within. Piece together the spider, and I use googly eyes, but there are cuts included for the eyes. I just suggest using a pen instead of the black little circles for the eyeballs. Or you can just use googly eyes too, but it's really up to you. Now we're going to piece together the flower, and you can see that I'm curling the petals of the larger flowers. It just helps to give it a little dimension. And once you have that all done, go ahead and kind of offset those larger pieces. And then you'll add that like medium-sized piece in the middle. And then there's 2 little diamond. Just trying to get a different look, something different. 2 little diamond cuts, and you can place those, just alternate them, just like opposite of each other. And if you choose not to use that, of course you could use like a rhinestone or anything instead of that. That's really up to you. Now we're going to add the spider using that little spring. So you see that you kind of want to pull it apart. It's kind of like a rectangular spring. and the spider will go on the end of it. So you want to glue the 3 large edges to the front of the shoe. So only do it on the sides and the top, and then carefully place it on that area. It's the same exact size, so just match it up, the edges up, and do not glue the bottom. You want it to kind of pull out a little bit. Then add a bit of glue on the small piece at the end, and then you'll just gently press to adhere the spider the way you want him. Make sure you don't use too much glue so it does pull out. We want it to hang off, but we don't want it to get stuck to the end when you push it in. And then pull it gently out after the glue is dry. And that's just to get so it can kind of hang out there. And go ahead and attach the completed flower, and you've got your witch's boot lantern. Just add a tea light and it's ready to go. Thank you so much for watching.